So if you missed our last video on Ben Simmons that we uploaded a little bit earlier, well, I'm going to leave a link to it in the end screen so you could check it out. But this news is essentially coming from the same source, from the same article, and it has to do with Lonzo Ball. Now, the reason why this is significant is a lot of what we're hearing in regards to Lonzo Ball currently is stuff that we actually heard a few months ago. And if you remember what I've been telling you guys every single time we make one of these videos, is the best way to determine whether a rumor is plausible or not is whether if there is consistency throughout the next couple of months or not, and this checks off that box. Now, real quick before we get to the content, I wanted to let you guys know we're giving away a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X to a subscriber that turns on our notifications on this channel. We're gonna announce the giveaway winner on our community tab in the beginning of August. Now that we got all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Back again with our second video of the day. So smash that like button because we are on that grind. So today what we're going to be discussing is Lonzo Ball. We got some very significant news in regards to the New Orleans Pelicans' perception of Lonzo Ball and their plans for Lonzo Ball. And this is huge, guys, because everything we heard up until now is a rumor. Technically, this is still a rumor, but this is something we heard a couple of months ago. So for those of you guys that have been following Lonzo Ball, the story of this man's career is absolutely phenomenal. He took UCLA by storm back in 2016 to 2017, and as a result of him playing in LA, coming from the Ball family and dominating in Chino Hills, and his dad's ability to just grab headlines, plus just sheer marketing brilliance, I believe Lonzo Ball was drafted number 2 overall by the Lakers as a result of that. And at the time, there was tremendous hype and a lot of hope for Lonzo Ball as the number 2 pick in the 2017 NBA draft. Unfortunately, he didn't really live up to that billing during his first 2 years in LA. Well, I don't even know if that's so fair to say, because in his first season, he was a rookie and he had an opportunity to potentially try to develop in his rookie season. But then in his second year, LeBron James comes to town and instantly the Lakers are in win now mode. As a result, he gets traded to the Pelicans and he's been there ever since. The reason I'm bringing this up is the one thing that is a huge conundrum for probably any general manager and basketball fans alike is your perception of Lonzo Ball. And before we even dive into this, you guys have to go to the comment section down below and tell me how you perceive Lonzo Ball, because this is a guy that's improved insurmountably. Like, there are improvements that Lonzo Ball made to his game that I guess some people take for granted, but in my opinion, these are things that I can't even wrap my head around. Like, the man literally came in with the most awkward looking jump shot I've ever seen in NBA history, something that was memed consistently, and now he has one of the nicest looking jumpers I've ever seen. He completely recreated his jump shot. That's not easy to do. You see what's going on with Ben Simmons currently and how he's struggled to even slightly be consistent from the arc during the entire duration of his career, and Lonzo Ball was able to do this after his second to third year, improving his 3-point percentage from 33% to 37%, and even improving upon that this past year, going up to 38% by attempting 8.3 3-pointers per game. His points per game averages went up, going from 10 in his rookie year, 9.9 in his sophomore year, all the way to 14.6 this past year. He was known as a defensive savant earlier on in his career. His defense slightly dropped off, but he's by no means a liability. He's still positive on defensive box plus minus. In this past year, he had the highest player efficiency rating and offensive box plus minus of his career. Why am I telling you all this? Well, the conundrum is this. Lonzo Ball turned down a contract extension in the beginning of the season from the New Orleans Pelicans, essentially betting on himself, which was a very ballsy move considering that this is a guy that seemed to have stagnated during the first 2 years of his career and didn't necessarily give the Pelicans the boost that they were hoping for last year during the 2019 to 2020 season. So the issue here is, if you're the New Orleans Pelicans, what do? Do you sign this guy that is clearly improving, clearly developing in a way that most NBA players are just not able to do? Again, I reiterate, I've seen players like Michael Kidd-Gilchrist lose their career as a result of not being able to effectively shoot or recreate their jump shot. We're seeing what's happening with Ben Simmons, and Lonzo Ball was able to easily, well, not easily, but he was able to put in the work to completely recreate his jump shot in his third season, something that Markelle Fultz, the person that was drafted number 1 overall in his draft class, couldn't do. So with that being said, if you're the Pelicans, do you give this guy something like $20 million per season and make him a core piece of your franchise. Well, today the Pelicans came out and said what their stance was on him, because the first piece of news we got is that the Pelicans are planning to hire former New Orleans Pelicans player and current Phoenix Suns assistant Willie Green as their head coach, which, according to Get Like Coop, which is probably the biggest Pelicans fan I know, is a huge get and something that he's really happy with. So if you're a Pelicans fan, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about that. But then they give an update on Lonzo Ball, saying that New Orleans is unlikely to match a significant offer sheet on Lonzo Ball. Ball, who is 23 years old, is amongst the top point guards on the free agent market. The Bulls and Clippers are expected to be among the teams interested in him, according to sources. And then it mentions how Lonzo Ball averaged career highs in points and three-point shooting this past season. Here's the issue for the New Orleans Pelicans, at least from my perspective. You're the 10th pick in this year's NBA draft. Davion Mitchell might be available. James Bouknight might be available for you. We already did a mock draft if you guys want to check that out. Hey, maybe Moses Moody might be available to you guys. You could easily recreate the three-point shooting that Lonzo Ball gives you for a fraction of the price. It doesn't make sense paying Lonzo Ball $20 million a year if he's going to be maybe your fourth option or just a spot-up shooter behind Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram. That just doesn't make sense. So this is consistent with the report we heard about 4 months ago. The article said that the Chicago Bulls and the Los Angeles Clippers would be interested in Lonzo Ball. And one of the things I love doing on this channel, and I think a huge benefit of me being a YouTube channel as opposed to like a main media outlet like SportsCenter or ESPN or Fox Sports Net, is I could dive into the legitimacy of most of these comments. And to be honest, the Chicago Bulls do make sense. It could potentially work out. We discussed this on the Laced Up podcast, whether or not a backcourt of Zach LaVine and Lonzo Ball would make sense. It does sound like a nice improvement over Zach LaVine and Kobe White, who are both more scoring guards as opposed to one being a playmaking guard and one being a scoring guard. It clearly is a huge improvement for them defensively as well. So I do think it is feasible for the Chicago Bulls to potentially pursue a player like Lonzo Ball, especially if they don't plan on paying Lauri Markkanen. They were interested in him during the trade deadline as well. So that rumor does make a lot of sense. But to be honest, the Los Angeles Clippers, with all due respect, I just don't see a way that the Clippers could acquire Lonzo Ball. And maybe you could take to the comment section and let me know how they could acquire Lonzo Ball, because here's the thing. The Clippers have absolutely no cap space currently. They paid Marcus Morris a 4-year, $64 million contract last year. They traded for Luke Kennard and extended him 4 years, $64 million last year as well. You still owe Patrick Beverley $14 million more next year. Serge Ibaka has an option for next year, which I'm expecting him to opt into, and that's what you have with your MLE. And that's before we even bring up Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. So while I do think it's a nice little idea, Lonzo Ball returns to LA, plays for the rival LA team against the team that drafted him. It would make a nice little story. But the thing is, what could the Clippers possibly offer up in even a sign and trade for Lonzo Ball? You can't really offer up much. You don't even have draft picks to trade for Lonzo Ball. As a result, I don't think it's really plausible. As for the New York Knicks, originally we heard rumors back in June, at least late June, that according to Mark Berman of the New York Post, LeVar Ball wants Lonzo Ball to join the New York Knicks, and the Knicks might be interested. The exact quote goes like this: Ball, the number 2 pick of the 2017 NBA draft, is a restricted free agent, but the Pelicans might not match an offer sheet that starts at $19 million. Making Zion happy is their top priority, though, and it's been reported that they like playing together. Lonzo Ball is a pass-first point guard that the New York Knicks need, and he improved his three-point shooting, but has never performed against a playoff defense. Leon Rose knows LeVar from the past when CAA repped the balls, and the father's eccentricities are not an issue. Sources believe LeVar, a former Jets tight end on the practice squad, wants all of his sons on Broadway, and the Knicks are on Lonzo's radar. So I do believe that LeVar wants his sons to play for a large market. That's something that he's always wanted. If there's something that LeVar loves, it's spotlight. And take a look at this, because Lonzo Ball even discussed how he feels about the New York Knicks star player Julius Randle, saying in a recent talk, and this is according to Shams Charania as well, this is coming from May of 2021, saying, "When I was with the Lakers, we had a team meeting early on when we were losing games and coaches were getting on some guys, and then I just spoke up for my teammates and I said what I felt. I think ever since then, I formed a really good bond with one of my close friends to this day, Julius Randle. I spoke up for him, and I think ever since that day, we've been cool." So for those of you guys that don't know, Julius Randle and Lonzo Ball played together in Lonzo's first season with the Los Angeles Lakers, but Julius Randle would eventually leave after that season and sign with the New Orleans Pelicans. But the problem is the New York Knicks aren't necessarily even zeroed in on Lonzo Lonzo Ball, they're more focused on Colin Sexton apparently. And this is coming straight from this article. According to Shams Charania, the New York Knicks are the most aggressive trade suitor for Cavaliers point guard Colin Sexton. Sexton is eligible for his rookie extension this offseason, and with 1 year left on his deal, it allows Cleveland to continue to be patient in constructing the roster, which is really strange to me because I don't really see how Colin Sexton would fit in New York. Like, you have RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Colin Sexton on a team. Apparently the reason why Colin Sexton might be on the outs is because his teammates don't really like him. That's the rumor going on around him. But I don't know, if the New York Knicks had to choose, I would assume they would prefer Lonzo Ball over Colin Sexton because you have to pay Colin Sexton once his rookie scale contract is up next year. Lonzo Ball brings significantly more defensive versatility, and you got to give the man credit. He's improved his game year after year. Teammates love him. He has a history with Julius Randle, and I could only imagine what Tom Thibodeau could get out of him. That's before we even bring up the fact that his dad wants him to go to a large market. It just makes too much sense, and I could see the New Orleans Pelicans being okay with letting Lonzo Ball walk away, and Lonzo Ball being offered something in the ballpark of $20 million a year. So let me know in the comment section down below, what team do you think Lonzo is the most likely to join? For me, I think it's going to be the New York Knicks. It makes the most sense for me there. I think he could improve the Chicago Bulls. I really would love for my Los Angeles Lakers to acquire him, but I can't figure out a means of getting Lonzo back on the Los Angeles Lakers, if I'm being honest. But I think his skill set fits beautifully, but the Lakers just don't really have anything to offer the Pelicans in a sign and trade. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section down below. It's been absolutely insane today. Aside from that, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like because this is our second upload of the day. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.